child in the public schools, I always heard about this elusive individual or individuals that were taking, okay, kidnapping and taking young black kids, okay. And through the decades, because I'm an older woman, I still hear about it. And I wondered to myself, I said, self, how could it be this person or persons that is still out here, okay, kidnapping, okay, and taking young black boys and girls, and possibly murdering them, and still no one that I'm aware of has been apprehended in decades, okay, in literal decades. Now, when I talked about PBS and Black Voices for Chicago Tonight, they talked about that issue and they said 2 decades, okay. It's a big problem. Clearly, it's a big problem. I have yet to hear about anyone, even remotely being apprehended. And I've also heard about, within the past 3 or 4 years, about different documentaries, docuseries. So it's not for a lack of not knowing. People know that it's happening, and it's been happening. And I know that there are people out there that feel the same way that I do, and I know there are people that are standing up, okay, and stepping up and putting together different things and actually actively looking for the people possibly responsible for all of this. But it's such a ridiculous amount, okay, and it's not just here, okay, it's across, as they've already said, across the nation, that these things are happening over and over and over. Now they had this particular hearing, the first of its kind, to maybe address this. Our cases are dealt with differently. Now, this leads me to something else that may not have any bearing, but it may. Doesn't have to do with missing people, but it does have to show a disproportionate or a disparity of how different things are handled when there are 2 different groups of people. Okay, I'm going to give you an example. I used to work for an organization out in the suburbs, and I started to hear about a gentleman who was a substitute, okay, who I guess when he would fill in for different so I worked in education for a while, okay, specifically special education. So when I worked out there, you had like a pool of people who, whenever someone was absent, they would call in, okay, and then they would send a substitute to be inside your classroom. So this particular individual had joined the particular organization or association, and he was very personable. He was a very personable guy, but I noticed what happened with me. He started to be personal, but he started to be inappropriate, okay? And come to find out that another individual that worked in the same room with me, who was a new hire, he'd been inappropriate with her as well. Now, we're not the same race. Okay. She was an older woman of a different race. She lived out there. I lived in the city. I still lived in the city, but I worked in the suburbs. Okay. So what came to fruition was the fact that this gentleman started to be inappropriate with a lot of females, okay, that worked out there and lived out there. They were also of the same, they were non-black, okay. He got really outrageous, evidently, and then they reported him. They filed something against him. Now, once that happened, the teacher that I worked under, she pulled me to the side. Now, I had no clue what was going on, and she told me that she was at the main office to drop off some paperwork, and that she'd been hearing some things, and she knew that he had worked in the room, he'd been a substitute, and had anything happened inappropriately. And I just looked at her. I'm a very reserved individual. And she says, I knew it. I knew you never said anything, but I knew it. I said, well, no, I didn't. I just, I didn't have to see him every day, but he didn't start out like that, but it ended up being inappropriate. So she laid it out. So then I said, well, yeah. I said, and also so-and-so came to me and told me some things that had happened to her. And she's like, what? And so what happened was they investigated the guy. Okay. Now, how they questioned the other women and how they questioned me were totally different. And I'm going to be honest with you, I was insulted. I was insulted. Now, the other women who were not black were questioned, okay? And so they were believed right away. But me, not being Caucasian, they believed that whatever basically lies the man said, okay, that basically I wanted that kind of attention, that I wanted whatever he was saying or promising or whatever innuendo that he was saying to me. Now, when it was other people that were non-black women, they knew right away they didn't want it. But me, not being Caucasian, I wanted it. And I got very offended, and I did something that probably was very unprofessional, but I started to laugh when the guy did it by phone. He did it by phone, and he felt some type of way by me laughing, and he asked me, he actually demanded, why was I laughing? And I said, I just can't believe this. I just can't believe this. And he said, what is it that you're even talking? I mean, he started to get in his feelings, but I just found it I saw it quite clear that he believed that these women had been wronged, but because I wasn't Caucasian, that I wanted it or something. I don't know. It was very strange to me. And then he got upset because I started to laugh, because I think it's probably I have a bad temper, okay? Over the years and being older, I've kind of got a harness on it. But I mean, how do you think that these other women, this man is clearly unprofessional, and you can see that they're victims, but for some reason I'm not a victim, okay? I wanted it. No, I did not want it, okay? And what they were saying he did was exactly what he had done to me. So I'm just like, okay. And so obviously this person had a higher position than myself. And after that conversation and investigation, he must have said something to my the teacher that I worked under. And she questioned me about the laughing. And I don't really remember. It's been some time since it happened. It's been actually a long time, actually. But I don't really remember what I told her. But I have enough awareness to know that I couldn't be honest, okay? I couldn't be honest, even though it's very clear that I was being treated differently. You were just listening to Teachable Moments with April podcast. I truly hope you enjoyed this episode. We invite you to stay connected with us on our other social media platforms: TikTok, Pinterest, Instagram, Threads, YouTube, and now Rumble. You can also leave us feedback in 3 ways: in the Interact feature section on the Spotify app, voice messages to the podcast through our customized link, or at teachablemomentswithapril@gmail.com.